My name is Martin Scott. I've been living in Bradford just over a year now, and I think it's a beautiful place to be. Its green spaces, dazzling heritage sites, and a multicultural community is wonderful to look at and experience.
I wanna love ya and treat you right. I wanna love ya every day and every night. Be together.
My journey here has largely been positive. However, because of past experiences, I can't help but notice moments of microaggressions and subtle indifference. It makes me wonder whether there is a need for healing. The diverse community needs help to make the leap forward to a more cohesive and inclusive sense of a wider social solidarity. Past issues of the riots in 1995 and 2001 reflect obvious rifts along racialised lines. Coupled with high rates of unemployment, a lack of help from the central government, and not that much investment from big business to support the UK's youngest population, Bradford is negatively labelled by many as undesirable. If there is resentment, how does this experience feel? What could a possible remedy be? How do we learn to love one another as nature intended?
One hand wash the other.
One good turn deserves another.
You put an in the sky, it fall in your eye.
Treat others as you want them to treat you.
One finger can't kill louse.
Cooperation is necessary for projects involving more than one person.
Bradford is a city that grew in the 19th century as an international centre of textiles manufacture, particularly wool. A boom town of the Industrial Revolution, it rapidly became the wool town of the world. Access to supplies of coal, iron ore and soft water also facilitated the growth of a manufacturing base. Inevitably, the population grew. Today, its multiculturalism makes Bradford an important city in the north. I come from a faith that connects to the Caribbean, the Pentecostal and evangelical movement. Many people that I know that connect themselves to this religion believe that their faith can help them to overcome issues that they face on a regular basis. It made me think about how similar West Indians in Bradford used similar ideas to cope. How did they use their faith to overcome their social and emotional barriers? What are the mechanisms within their faith that has allowed them to flourish? Can such thinking be used as a template for others to find faith in their own context, to make connection with others in the community easier? Can the deciphering of such thought encourage feelings of gratitude, contentment and fearlessness, which can lead to happiness? Can it help Bradford to become a place that all can be proud of, as we combine to help it re-establish a feeling of pride and positive identity? I am on a journey of discovery in this film because I want to know what can be achieved when we are seeing with imagination. It was an ordinary day, riding our bikes in our own way. The flowers seemed so bright, yellow, stark. The light shone sweetly on our skin. We couldn't help but understand this is the place we needed to be in. Every day it was our own space. Nothing made us afraid. Nothing feared. We wandered further into our park, the space we thought was magical. The water flowed, washed over us. A baptism. The scene of children playing, the playground hours. We wandered further. The Statue of Liberty. We climbed right to the top. The apex reached with vigor. We knew nothing could hold us back. The world was ours. Nature held us. Freedom stood firm. Freedom stood. Suddenly, we wondered when we heard the shouts. Get out of my park, you black bastards! You coons! You nignogs! The dog barked, the Alsatian chasing us. It was like a scene from the civil rights movement. MLK was nowhere to be seen. We cycled fast, moving away shouting back, "You bastard! Leave us alone!" The lane felt tighter than usual. We couldn't move. Suffocated. I hope today things have changed. I hope today things are not the same. Young people deserve a better life. They deserve the freedom of nature's sanction. They deserve to put the community first. They deserve to be put first in terms of what they are. Human beings, all of us, the same.
If the police say, as it's being alleged, that they want to see another riot in order to make their revenge, right? If that happens, well, of course, it's rather something that we would have to discredit outright. But you've got to first prove that that is the case. I'm not saying that you or anyone should not speak out continuously against visible police brutality. Right. It always exists. But at the same time, you use an expression about fighting fire with fire. We're a loser by doing that. I know.
My dad is a huge fan of Martin Luther King. He was always fighting for equality and justice. He was always fighting for his family.
Jesus said, "Suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of heaven."
I don't feel no waste tide. I've come too far from where I've started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
This is a picture of my mum after she graduated from teacher college in the mid-80s. I'll never forget when she told us she was going to do teaching, which she'd always wanted to do. Basically left the post office because she was constantly being overlooked for promotion, but still being asked by the management to train the people that had been given the post that she'd actually applied for. This is something that I've heard on a few occasions. And so she left, and eventually she obviously graduated and became a deputy head of a school in Haringey for a number of years, which she was extremely proud of, and I was extremely proud to see her in that role, which inspired me, my brother and my sister, and many, many others, in fact, who speak of her very highly, with endearment, because she helped to change their lives. A great example of a person that sacrifices and gives to others. My mother, Beverly.
Can you do the warm in the oven, Albert? Is everything all right now?
I'll cut the switch bits off. You should never light a candle when you've got a man with a beard in your house.
It's Irma Parker.
Irma Parker. And how long you lived in Bradford for?
Nearly 62 years.
Wow. And come from Jamaica?
Yeah, I came straight from Jamaica, yeah.
My journey began on the 22nd of March 1968 when I came into this world.
I was born in Jamaica and I had this amazing family My mum and dad lived in England.
I was born here, so I'm British.
Like I moved to Keith for a little bit, but it's still Bradford district, still a BD postcode.
Yeah, so my granddad came over in the Windrush generation. I can't remember the year he came over, but I know I'm sure it was in the 70s or the 80s.
So basically my dad came from Ghana in the 70s to work in sort of the medicinal field. He came to study dentistry and that didn't work out, and he ended up working as training as a health visitor.
He used to go to his parents' house for dinner on a Sunday. Everybody was black but me, and I always felt welcome. And I remember being so confused that what my dad taught me isn't true.
I can't remember. I was like, oh, my man, thank you. And he was like, oh, you reminded me of Terry Crews with hair. What part of me looks like Terry Crews?
None at all.
Exactly. I've had, oh, you like Will Smith? You're like Will I Am. It's like, oh, you like Wesley Snipes? It's like, are you for real?
Martin, you feel like you've faced quite a bit of microaggression in your life?
I've come across issues of, when I'm walking down the road, I'll notice a woman, for example, but more times than not a white woman, actually clutch onto a purse more hard, if you like, in order to indicate possibly I might be the person to take it off her. In my head, I think it could be an automated response, reflexively just responding to what she believes to be the case. Sometimes that's not necessarily her fault, because maybe she's been bred that way and there are images and ideas that are put out there to persuade her that that's the truth.
We don't belong here. We were only brought here because the country was down on its knees after the Second World War. They needed help for the rebuilding of Britain.
Everybody was in the same boat. There were no rich or poor about it, You got to work. And for children that leave school, they always have to go learn a trade. They're just going to sit down and do nothing, because in Jamaica they don't give you unemployment benefit.
I was shocked to come to school. I remember the first day at school. I couldn't believe it. You could turn up with not clean clothes. That frightened me. In Jamaica you had to wear clean shoes. Your clothes had to be spanking clean and, neat and tidy, and the respect.
Singing is what I do. Singing is what I love to do. There was a time when I doubted myself, and I would compare myself to others. And I think that was only because I was being compared to others.
They did the jobs that they didn't really want to do. They did the jobs such as the bus drivers and the auxiliary nurses and the nurses. They came with their own skills. They came with being electricians and teachers, doctors and lawyers, solicitors, etc., but they were told, unfortunately, your grades don't meet where we think you should be, where we think you should be. But the system in Jamaica and in the Caribbean was mirrored from the English GCSE, GCE, O-level, A-level, CSE standard. But
School was different. School was different back in the 70s. School was different. If you were black, then you obviously weren't going to amount to anything. I was told that quite a few times, in fact, by my teachers.
Boys in particular, boys from ethnic backgrounds, mainly black Caribbean boys, mixed race boys, when they get in the education system, because that's set up for them to fail, when they get to about 11, they do not progress any further. They don't, and it's a statistic, it's proven. They called me in one time about him and told me that he was threatening and intimidating. So I looked at my son and I looked at the teacher and I said, what exactly, can you give me an example? What exactly is he doing to be threatening or intimidating? And they said, he's tall and he wears glasses.
Always remember Jesus, Jesus. Always remember Jesus, Jesus.
I'm sure it's driven. Oh, well, he will have one.
Hold on, I need another. You need another mic.
Can I share theirs?
Put up there. You don't have to share it, Alison. I'll get you your own. Right, we'll go with I Remember. It's because that's easy enough. In fact, what we'll start with, second we'll start with I Will Remember. It's easy enough. That's the easiest one. My mum had just gone. She got pregnant when she was 16. You had two options. You either gave the child up for adoption, or you got rid. She chose to put me up for adoption, thank God. And I was fortunate, or should I say I was blessed, to be taken by my great uncle, my mother's uncle, and his wife, who then became Mammy and Daddy. Adopted parents were Christians, so it was every Sunday, every Wednesday, sometimes on a Saturday and a Sunday. I think my life wouldn't have been the same had I grown with my paternal parents.
We sing with vibrancy and with energy, with love, with a praise on our lips and a worship in our hearts. We stamp our feet. We get up and we dance. And then we allow the Lord to fill our hearts with that joy, so that we are dancing, but we're not in control of the dance, if you will. The Holy Spirit then takes over, and we become his vessel to use.
If you go to church and you don't bring your peace and to church, what's the point? You are going to fill your basket all the time, but what do you give back? You're always asking God to give you this, give you that, but what are you thankful for? What is he giving you that you can say to the next person, God is good because. He's my strength, he's my everything. But you have to have that within you, that thankfulness, that gratefulness, that even when it's raining and my shoes got all at the bottom, I can still walk.
My love is bigger than a well, but I can't seem to find it. Won't you help me, please? My mind sharper than an eye, but I can't seem to cut it. Won't you help me, please? All the time I'm walking, the lights, the sound, the noise, got me wondering who I am. I can't seem to think straight. Won't you help me, please? Won't you help me, please, to find myself.
I've got a problem and I want to share it with the church vicar, I can always go to him.
Because of the abuse and the racial tension and the racial abuse and being told that you can't do this and you can't do that and you will never aspire to anything, we've had to throw off all of those shackles and all of those weights. As the Bible says, let's not be burdened down by those weights that easily beset us.
When you think about the environment that we live in, if we could only see the goodness and those things that we can work with from the Bible, don't try to figure out some things that are so deep that, you know, it doesn't work in this space.
For me, it's me and the audience of one, and there's a song that says, "And I will not be silent, but I will always worship you as long as I am breathing."
BD5 and BD3, shout out the ends, BD15, born and bred, I'm a Bradford G, I was born and raised on these Bradford streets, proud of my city and I'm proud of my town, proud of my ends, I shout it loud, proud of the ends, I've been all around, BD we set trends, we don't follow the crowds, see I'm a Yorkshire lass, White Rose yes I'm talking facts, White Rose yes I'm talking truth, and I'm putting in work for the Bradford youth, this is our city and this is our time, shout out the crew from the healthy minds, youth music beats and bars, follow your dreams and reach for the stars, I said BD5 and BD3, shout out the ends, BD15, born and bred, I'm a Bradford G, I was born and raised on them Bradford streets, proud of my city and I'm proud of my town, proud of my ends, I'll shout it loud, proud of the ends, I've been all around, BD we set trends, we don't follow no crowds.
Yes. I still feel that there is good that can happen here in Bradford.
The narrative that's painted of Bradford it's not really a good one, but it is changing. I see it changing, just in the way that people are talking about it.
You know, when I talk to young people and I say to them, there's always a bend in the river. That river doesn't go like that. Life isn't always going to go down that road. There's a bend in the river.
But the generation that's coming up behind me, my children, my grandchildren, I see them changing things. The generation behind me is more outspoken.
Not only, but I did mention to Nadia, who's the main organizer of this, and there's many people outside who are using the conveniences as well. I have a little pit stop here, and we've got many places to go, so you won't see me at church.
I'm grateful that I've had a mother who's cared and looked out for me and brought me up understanding myself and who I am and what it is to grow up in a place such as Bradford.
If the education system was set up differently, so if they see, I think it shouldn't go on age, academic school years for age, it should go on ability. So then you see my son could have been able to do his GCSEs at 11 and get his A stars. He could have sat and done that. He could have then moved on to the next thing. By the time he was 16, he'd have had a university degree where he's then plodded on in that boredom. You know, he's a teenager, he's got into a little bit of trouble along the way, like they do, because they're bored. And then he's gone on to, you know, do an apprenticeship. He's passed all that I want for him. Then he's just starting a university degree. You know, he'll literally have to turn up to pass it. But it's if somebody recognises and then focuses on that, they excel. Anybody excels.
There's a lot happening with kids just now, isn't there? A lot of different aspects that are coming in, you know, on their phones, all this information that they're getting. So it's like, what is their true self? What is it they're really interested in? What is it they want to do? And encouraging that, like doing the dancing, the choreography with the kids. It's like, what do you like to do how do you like to move yourself? What is it that you want to do to express yourself? And then let's eke that out of you. So what is it that these kids are wanting to do? And give them all the options.
So there's them kids, there's them young people who academically it's not the one for them, you know. You sit them in front of a test and ask them to write 2 pages of writing and they can't do it. Whereas if you give them a topic and say, I want you to write me something about this, or I want you to write me something about that. They can do it straight away. It's about opportunities being made and having a legacy. I want people to hear the word Bradford and think, think good things about it. And
with times moving on, and with like the BLM movement and many things among that, I feel like getting to a point where people are more knowledgeable and understanding, and they sympathise, and it's what's needed, really.
Yeah. What I've learnt on this journey is that the black community supported reform in the UK, along with allies, who basically saw that it was important to be free. Even though they were rejected, some heavily dejected, they always respected the mission. Some were physically harmed with fists, bats and slaps, but many just looked up to counteract that. Deep in the rhythm of sounds gone by, never lost, they always hear the cry. Perpetual motion, the river of life. So far, never removed from the struggle. Professing love is the only way it can be. Changing the feel in the community, adding full flavour where there was very little or none. Praise be to the highest, the sun, moon and stars. So it is above, so it is below. If we don't use our imagination with false speculation, we will never know. Simply let it unfold.
Yeah,